Well, it's thinking.
Recording is on.
It is the 2nd of January, 2022. First one of the year. WIKISPEED stand up. You ready, Lauren?
Yes.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Lawrence Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada. And in the past week, the main thing I did was today, two things actually. I did try and load the robot operating system and found out the one I was trying to load was the latest one, but it's it needs Ubuntu 20.4 or 04, and I have 18.04. So I might upgrade to that, or I think we'll talk in crosstalk about whether to stay with ROS 1. That's ROS 2. Second thing I did was try and hook my jumpers up to I cut the wires, which I think I did that last week. I cut and stripped the wires, but maybe not. Maybe that was this week too, so that's good. Another point. And I'm trying today to twist them together and solder them. And I have more for crosstalk about that. So far, I'm not good at it. That's all I'll say. Coming week, I want to follow up on the red tape, get the wires soldered. And that would be a good week. That's my aim, because I think the red tape is probably 4 story points and wires are 2. So that's the coming week. And blocks are that the house isn't built for cold, and the heat pump neither function great in below 0, and it just popped up above 0 today, so I'm catching up. And that's also probably I could use some more tips on soldering, and also another thing I'll talk about in a block kind of thing in crosstalk. And so that's it for me.
Okay. I looked, and it does not seem like I have done a stand up, or I haven't submitted a stand up for like 3 weeks. So I'm going to talk about the last 3 weeks, but the last week is the only thing I should be reporting on. I missed last week's stand up, so I guess 2 weeks is what I should be doing. So tank level project, no progress. Battery inverters, no progress, no update. ROS review, I watched the first 2 how-to videos again, and this time I took notes. So hopefully I'll be able to make some progress next week. And CAD is no progress. So in summary, not really very much progress. Next week looks similar to what I have been talking about for a bit. Start again implementing the ROS video series for version 1. Get the Raspberry Pi preloaded with the software that they suggest to use, and get communication working between my Ubuntu laptop and the Suncatcher Raspberry Pi. And given that I might be able to do that, get the video working, because the video should be able to be streamed from the camera. Take some video and post it. So that's what I'm hoping I can do next week, but I've been hoping to do that for the last 8 weeks, so we'll see. Blocks. Blocks, I forgot my laptop when I went up to the lake, so I didn't get anything done, which was reflected in my stand-up. So that's about it for me. Oh, you're still muted there, Lauren.
Good idea. Unmute. Okay. So past week is I'll call it 5. The team I'm still, because we've had so many on the meeting, and I think we got a heads up that there wouldn't be people on the meeting who are doing the book. So I'm going to still call it an 8 for the team. And I think process improvement would be to get everybody on the get the waiver signed for everybody, so we're comfortable recording when we have the larger amount of people in the meeting. And that's it for me.
Okay, I got 0 done for my points, so I'm going to give myself a 2 out of 10. I'll agree with 8 out of 10 for the team. We did get some notice that people weren't going to be able to make it. It was kind of expected. And I agree with the process improvement of getting everybody on board with the Jitsi meeting and having it so that we can get it recorded. People are a little shy about recording. I understand that, but it's once you do it a few times, being embarrassed in public is no big deal. So I guess that takes us into our our crosstalk. So you want to talk about soldering, and you got to unmute first. You're still muted. There we go.
Mute crosstalk. You read my lips.
Well, I could see you were saying something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with this. So as Edison, I think it's Edison, and I don't know. Whenever I look up a famous quote from someone, they didn't say it. But anyway, Edison's supposed to have said, "Obscurity is a greater threat than theft." And actually, in the this is. Then I want to oppose this crosstalk, because the other thing I want to talk about is more controversial. So, not to do with WIKISPEED, it's just general. So,
Okay. So
post, but not now. We can. This is all relevant.
Okay.
So, let's go first and foremost to the wires. They seem really tiny to me, and I thought it was going to be easy compared to soldering pins. But I'm not finding that. I'm finding, for one thing, I hold the soldering iron at 400 on the markings on the weller, and I hold it on for a long time, and I touch the solder to the wire, and it first time I did it, it melted. I don't know if I was closer or it was a better, thicker wire. Anyway, first time it did slightly bond, but then I took a look at it and I didn't like it, and also I did test the strength a bit before I taped it, which is probably not a good idea.
No.
Anyway, yes, tips on that.
Sounds like your soldering iron might not be showing you the actual temperature. If you're having trouble and it's not melting for you, you turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, actually, when I was using it, it had to be like 450. I saw a video that said 325 is perfect, but maybe that.
Well, and 325 could be the temperature that the tip of your iron is. It just could not, like when you're adjusting the dial on your control, it just may be out. Like the cheaper soldering irons aren't really well calibrated for temperature.
Okay, all right. Then I actually have a question with that, because the conical tip that I got, that was the one that you recommended, it's a little small, and I have to turn whatever it is, the screw, really tight to hold it. Is that normal?
I mean, it's when you're putting it into the soldering iron, and the screw is just holding it against the side. Yeah. What you're actually getting is just a transfer of heat from the soldering iron itself through the end of the tip and through a little bit of the side, right? So it's how much you have to tighten it just means it's a little bit smaller diameter than maybe it should be. It's not really that big a deal. The end-to-end contact is where I believe you get most of it, and then you get a little bit out of the side.
I mean, it sizzles when I put it on the sponge, and it did. I tinned it fine.
Yep.
So yeah, a little more heat because these wires are strands and they're very tiny.
Hmm.
So okay, all right, good tip. And so and then the video I watched said 5 millimeters, which is a little short for me, so I'm doing more like 6 or 7.
That's fine.
And then twisting them, but then it said cut them back after
I
you
wouldn't cut
solder
them
them.
back. Like you don't want stuff poking through your heat shrink. So if
Yeah,
there's stuff sticking up, like if you've got a blob of solder and there's something sticking out, cut it off with a set of nippers, right? But if it's
yeah,
all
okay,
nice and smooth, you don't have to cut anything off. Just slide the heat
yeah,
shrink over and
yeah.
shrink
So
it.
I don't have any heat shrink. I haven't ordered any yet.
Oh, you said, what did you use for tape then?
I asked you last week, and you said just electrical tape is okay.
Electrical tape works fine. It's a little
I
thicker.
haven't done that yet, so
Okay.
okay.
So if you're
I think
putting
maybe
electrical tape and you actually have something sticking out, it could pierce it. So you just have to put another wrap of the tape on it, so
yeah,
you just make
yeah,
sure they don't short. That's all.
yeah. This guy was a stickler for having nothing showing, no wire showing.
Yeah, well. I mean, that's what you want to get to. That's not your first one, right?
Yeah, okay. All right, that's good. Okay, and my second, do you have anything crosstalk?
Um, Not really, unless you want to talk about Ross. You said you wanted version 1 or version 2 discussion.
Yeah, no, let's do that.
So all the demos that I find, and probably 80% of the code that I've seen on GitHub and just taking a look at, all seems to be version 1. Version 1 was around for a long time.
Okay.
So there's a lot of, well, if you're using such and such a hardware, here's how you do it. Version 2
Okay.
hasn't been out for as long. So if you were starting a new project, you might want to do version 2, and I think there would be no trouble with that. It's just that you can't follow the step-by-step instructions because it doesn't seem that very many people have done that for version 2.
No, that's a red flag to me. So I would go definitely with the. I would go with the 1.
Like if like
So that means
version 1 has security issues. So when we get to the point where we're actually publishing stuff, we might have to learn how to use version 2. But I think we're a ways away from that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That means I can charge ahead and do my Ubuntu upgrade.
Sure.
Do you know if 2004 is okay with ROS 1, backward compatible?
Yeah, there's like 2 versions. If you look on the ROS site, it gives you which versions are compatible, like which versions of ROS are compatible with which versions of Ubuntu.
Great. Okay. All right. I'm happy with
that. They seem to keep it up to date quite well.
Okay.
There is a lot of people using ROS.
Yeah. Are any of them noticeably have emails from companies?
There's a lot of R&D guys. I would say that if you are doing vision and it's part of your master's or your thesis, you're using ROS.
It's cool. That's really exciting.
A lot of them aren't really. They're not in it for the robot. They're in it for the video processing, or trying to take the video and combine it with the LiDAR, or whatever, right? Whatever their specialty is, that's what they want to get this other stuff done so that they can get to the part they want to do, right? And a lot of the example code I've seen, it just takes the examples exactly the way they are in GitHub. And like there's these 3 lines change and then 2 at the bottom and then they add another.
Right. Yeah, that's what we want to hear. That's good. Okay. All right. So I'm happy with that. That take my block away.
Okay.
And so I'm done with WIKISPEED crosstalk directly.
Okay, we will hit the stop button and I will try and get this posted.